Today I embrace the fullness and abundance of life. Yay, life! My spiritual path is not one of sacrifice and lack. I release any belief that I came into this human experience as punishment. Can you imagine? This thought is inconsistent with Jesus' teachings. Jesus invites us to have life and have it abundantly. John 10:10. And reminds us that there is spiritual good in even the most challenging of conditions. What is mine to do is to allow that spiritual life to express in every choice I make, every chance I take. There is no future in spirit, and I am a being of spirit. There is one presence and power in the universe, and I am blessed to be imbued with that divine essence. Today I embrace my life fully and give thanks for the love in which I experience it all. Those who desire life and desire to see good days, let them turn away from evil and do good. Let them seek peace and pursue it. 1 Peter 3:10-11.
Let's move deeper into that holy silence. Deep into ourselves, deep into below, within, letting go for the moment of our ego, our personality, just letting it go. We'll get back there. But it's in this holy silence within our heart, within that center of us, that we connect. We connect to that which we are. Allow the knowingness. I am. I am. I am one with this creative power of the universe. I am a drop of water in the ocean of God. Not separate. Not separate. I am a unique creative being. As each snowflake is one with that same water of the ocean and yet is completely unique, so am I. Let me breathe into that. Let me be in the peacefulness of letting go. Let me float. Totally unaware of anything that is outside of this deep connection. And as I float, any sounds will just drift. There is no disturbance in this deep center as I move deeper and deeper into the silence, into the silence. And gently allow yourself to come just a little bit back. Opening those areas of concern. Opening to that divine power and presence, that creative energy, the divine intelligence. Here I am, Spirit. Here's what is going on. Here's what's going on in my life, in the lives of those I love and care about, in the lives of those, your children, that are in so many different, desperate places. I let go of my solutions. I let go of what I think. I let go of my demands. And I open, and I offer, and I surrender. What is mine to do will become clear. What is mine to focus on will come clear. And what is mine to be, I know. I know that I am one. And I say thank you. And as I grow in my awareness and understanding, I am making it so. Amen. You know, one of the things that happens when you sit in the front with your back, it's just amazing how people show up that I have no idea that are out there. So pleased to see everybody on this gorgeous Labor Day weekend. And welcome. Glad to have you here. And you're going to get a double message today. So our special music and my talk are coordinated. Now, I'm talking about something different on that angle than what Debbie will be singing about, but we're both telling you it's never too late. It is never too late. And for some of our younger folks around, it is also never too early. Never too early. But most of us get caught up in that, oh, it's too late, I'm too old, oh, I can't do that. So I was raised in Southern California, a very different type of South than here. There was no segregation. For those of you that were raised in the South, think about how that might have been different. No segregation. We all went to school together, we all did things together. Now, if you were Hispanic in Southern California, you might have had a different experience of that, but we still all went to school together. You know, there was no, okay, you can't come in here, you can't do this. Now, I don't mean that there wasn't separation out there, but there was no colored-only water fountain. There was no, you can't come in this restaurant, you can't go to this movie theater, you can't go here and there. I moved to Florida Panhandle in 1966. So at that point in time, the laws around segregation were already changing, and particularly in Walton Beach because it's a military town. So yes, it's the South, but it's a very different South than Alabama is. And in their great wisdom, the housing authority on Eglin Air Force Base moved a black family into an all-white neighborhood. And they were right across the street from me. And I thought, Oh my, I bet you nobody else is going to go knocking on their door and saying hello and welcome to the neighborhood. So I decided that was mine to do, and I did, and I got a huge gift. Becky Brothers, and I just really made one of those connections. You know how you do with some people, it's just kind of instant. And so we got together a lot, we talked a lot. She ended up taking care of, my kids were pretty little at that point in time, so when they would get out of preschool. We were both very, very involved in church activities. She out on the base and did a lot of Bible study, and that was a real focus. We really enjoyed talking about those things. But then I realized that the church I was going to, which had a really interesting Bible study process, I couldn't invite Becky to go with me. Now, the legality was they couldn't shut the door on her, but what was the reality? She would totally be ignored, ostracized. There would be, and when I really got that, here we are, we're both Christians, we're both involved deeply involved in studying the scripture and really enjoying that, and yet she was not welcome in the church I was attending. I would have been totally welcome out on the base. You know, sometimes we forget that the military is really out there on the front lines in so many ways. So I really began to look at what was going on in the world, and that kind of was my first introduction in reality to what living in the South was like. Fast forward many years to last Sunday night. So last Sunday I attended a gathering down on the steps of the courthouse downtown. I announced it here. It was going to be an honoring and a memorial of all those who had been lynched, actually 10 people who had been lynched in the Madison County, plus one. The last person lynched in the South was Emmett Till, which was in Mississippi back in 1955. But all the others were people who had been lynched in Madison County, and one, actually, maybe more than one, but a particular one that was lynched right, not this courthouse, this is a totally new courthouse, but lynched at the courthouse many years ago. That lynching was so horrifying. In a time that lynchings were horrifying. I learned history. It's never too late to learn history. Not only were people lynched, but they were mutilated. People took body parts as souvenirs, and they sent them across the United States to people. In that era, the lynching on the courthouse square was so heinous that it made the national newspaper. But it's never too late to begin to move forward in this process, because what I was really impressed with, this group, the speakers, the whole intent of this gathering was to raise up, to recognize, to let people know that this was forgotten history. This was forgotten history. And what the goal is at this moment, and all over Alabama, I'm not sure about other places, but here in Alabama, to recognize where those lynchings took place, to have historical markers and plaques and things like that. So it's for something. It's for bringing out some of that deep, hidden darkness that we really don't want to look at, even if part of us knows that it is there. It is moving forward. Now the other interesting thing is, so we know all about the Confederate memorials and things, and there's one at the courthouse. I never saw that. As many times as I've been down to the courthouse, been to gatherings, gone in and out for practical things, I had no idea it was there. They have there's a magnolia tree that's kind of grown up around it. So, but it's pretty obviously there. So our gathering was right there beside it because that is where the lynching was held. And that Confederate memorial, that statue, was put in place within 2 or 3 days of that lynching. So we think about that, we think about this past, and what does it mean? And y'all are probably going, she's a unity minister, what is she up there on Sunday morning talking about this darkness? But don't we all have darkness within us? And how many times do we want to hide that darkness? Do we want to put a lid on it? Do we not want to allow it to come out? So when we think about what is the darkness in our personal history, because what we see out there is simply a reflection of humanity. All of that darkness was a result of the darkness within the souls of human beings. So to look at what is the darkness in our soul, and have we suppressed it in a way because we're too afraid to look at it. We don't want to look at all of this stuff that happened out there. Oh, do we want to look at? Are we willing to look at? Are we willing to allow that which is within us, our personal history? Because what are you doing to keep it down? What happens when you use a lot of your energy to suppress that which you don't want to have coming up? So at this moment, it's not too late. Wherever we are, whatever it is, and I know probably everybody out here in one way or another has done a lot of that work. But there's always more to be done. There's always more to be done. And sometimes what's buried the deepest is where we have to trust. We have to trust that power that is within us to allow it to come forth. Because unless we do, we're sort of defined by our past instead of allowing our past to be our teacher. Whatever that is, what did I learn? Because no matter what it is, I learned something. Some of the things that we are either most frightened of or ashamed of, what did we learn from that? And if we're not willing to look at it, maybe we didn't. Maybe we didn't. But it's not too late to look at this process and to say, and whatever else, look, here I am. I am a survivor. I have grown and I have continued. But let me let go of those dark secrets. Now, I'm saying dark secrets. What about the ones that aren't so dark? What about those stupid things that you did and you're just ashamed of? What about those mistakes that you made? I'm not ever going to get up there on that platform and speak because, when I was in 6th grade, I got up and you know what? I forgot everything I was supposed to say and I felt like such a fool. And I'm never going to allow that to happen again. Do we all have some of those? What about, and I've heard this many times, people who will not sing because somewhere in their educational process, usually fairly early, either somebody in their family, usually a mother, sometimes a dad, more often than not a teacher, looked at them and said, "You can't sing.
Please don't sing.
Please don't sing." I hear somebody who probably heard that. I do have to say that. I have to, I don't know whether I ever actually said it to my daughter, but you think I can't hear you too? But, or with artistic things, or think of all the different things at some point in time, somebody may have said to you, "Oh, you can't do that." Or a friend just shared the other day, a father who would look at things like furniture and things like that and say, "Oh, that's not for us. That's not for us." So begin to look at what lessons do I have inside of me that either have deliberately buried or Oh, I just don't want to go there. I just don't want to look at that. And if I begin to bring that up, can I begin to say, that's not who I am. I'm not that person. I'm not that child who was intimidated, who looked at the authority figures as we look at God. No, I am the authority figure in my own life. You know, so sometimes we feel like life has passed us by. And that is not just a prerogative of somebody who's gotten, you know, into their 5th, 6th, and 7th, 8th decade. It's, you know, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds can look back and go, no, there's nothing I can do. So how old was it when some of us went back to school? You know? Was I too old at 47 to go back and finish my bachelor's degree and move on to a master's degree? We've got some people here in their 50s who went back to school. I don't remember, but after you retired, you went back and got a second master's degree so she could go on and do something entirely additional to what she had been doing. So it's never too late to look at, what haven't I done? What do I want to be able to do? What small steps can I begin to take? So it's never too late for us to be what we were meant to be. Spiritually realized individuals contributing harmoniously to the all-attractive whole, and therein sublime, supreme fulfillment. Obviously, those are not my particular words, so let me read them again. It is never too late for us to be what we were, and I'll change that to what we are meant to be. Spiritually realized individuals contributing harmoniously to the all-attractive whole, harmoniously to the whole, and therein relishing sublime, supreme fulfillment. Ooh, breathe that in. Sublime, supreme fulfillment. What does that feel like? It's never too late to know I am that spiritual being. So, knowing that when we're thinking about too late, our spiritual process, and actually what is growing is our awareness that we are spiritual beings. We are not, that spirit in us is not growing. That spirit in us is the truth of who we are and who we have always been. We have just been conditioned one way or another to keep that door closed. So it's never too late to begin to uncover that. Whatever ways you want to look at that, whether it's opening the doors, whether it's, you know, cleaning off the muck that has covered over. When I was growing up, there was a very popular series of pictures of Jesus. The artist's last name was Solomon, which sounds very Jewish to me, and I thought very interesting that, and I don't know if that person was Jewish, could also be very Muslim, would paint these wonderful pictures. And one of them was a picture of a door with roses growing on it, and Jesus is knocking on the door, and it's, you know, the idea is Jesus is knocking at heart's door for you to open and let him in. Well, as I've grown and become aware, I say, you know, it's that Christ knocking on the door from the inside, going, let me out, you've got me closed up in here. So knowing that spirit is always wanting to push itself out into our personal experience, into our everyday life. So I thought the daily word for Friday was very relevant to what is going on, what I'm talking about. What I do today brings blessings to me and to the world. I cannot change yesterday, but I can take charge of today. Right here, right now, I have the ability and the passion for setting a new course in any area of my life. Setting a new course in any area. I do not look back on success or failures of the past. I choose instead to live in the now. I create my day moment by moment. With each decision, thought, prayer, and action I take. So each decision, think about it. From moment to moment, am I paying attention? What is my thought process here? What decision am I taking each step? As I do, I am already creating my tomorrow. What I begin today is a cause that will have a future effect. I move forward each day confident that I have the resources and ability to express divine life, love, and wisdom. I listen and follow my guidance as I create my day. Think about that. As I create my day. And when do you begin creating your day? I've had so many people tell me when they wake up, here's what they do before they even get out of bed. They say something like, thank you, God. Or they have various ways of opening before they ever get out of bed. All that I do brings blessings to me and to the world, one day at a time, starting now. All that I do brings blessings to the world. And so as we say it's never too late to bring forward our awareness, what has been stopping us is realizing we might not have known it, but whatever we saw as being wrong or hateful or whatever, as we grow from that, blessings come forward. Blessings come forward. So here's some quotes that I want to share with you in closing, and here's one that I think is really, really powerful. And this is from the Gospel of Thomas. And the Gospel of Thomas, from those the Nag Hammadi Library, but it's not the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is a different group, newer than the scrolls because these were ancient books, literally. That's why it's called the library. And so several in there had sayings of Jesus, some of which show up in the Gospels as we have them, some of which don't. So here is one. If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. Now think about what we've been talking about. If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. Now think about that coming from the teachings of Jesus. So here's a few other quotes that I picked up. Pause and remember it is never too late to begin again, to forgive someone, to have a dream, to meet someone, or to start to love yourself. It is never too late. As long as you are breathing, it's never too late to do some good. It's never too late to start over. Who knows? You might get it right this time. And if you don't, you can always start over again. It's never too late to realize what's important in your life and fight for it. In life, we are given chances. What would be the point of living a life if you never take chances? Life changes like the weather. You should maybe say emotions change like the weather. It is never too late, no matter how old you get, because any time or any point in your life, you can always have a chance to make a difference. You can always make a change for the better, no matter what background you derive from. You can always do your best and be all that you can be, because you will always be uniquely you. It is why it's always wise to listen to your eternal heart, your eternal instincts, and what it always strives for, because really, anybody can make a difference not only in their own lives, but in the lives of others. It is never too late to be what you might have been. It is never too late to shine. Thank you. Carol? All right, we're going to go ahead and stand and sing a song. It's Peace in Our Lifetime chant. Orth will be up there, and then we'll have Debbie come up and do her song. She was right there. She disappeared on me. Ready? One life, one love, one peace in our lifetime. One life at a time. One truth, one world, one peace in our lifetime. One life at a time. One life, one love, one life at a time. One truth, one world, one life at a time. One voice, one choice, one peace in our lifetime. One life at a time. One prayer, one dream, one peace in our lifetime. One life at a time. One voice, one choice, one life at a time. One prayer, one dream, one life at a time. One life, one love, one peace in our lifetime. One life at a time. One truth, one world, one peace in our lifetime. One life at a time. And now I am pleased, you may have a seat. And I am pleased to bring Debbie Preece up here to sing her original song on guitar. And Debbie Preece, everybody give her a round of applause.
You guys are so great. Just a little bit about the background of this song. A few months ago, I took a class here with Renee Beckman. It's called Never Too Late. And it's written by Julie Cameron. She's also the author of The Artist's Way, which Renee is going to be starting next week. Sign up for this. Anyway, it's like Carol was talking about. This class is about maybe doing things that maybe you've been thinking about but never did, or maybe you had these dreams that were just like pushed way back, and you didn't even allow yourself to think about those dreams because it's too painful. But this class kind of gives you the encouragement to just start taking those small steps towards your dream. So one of my dreams, and I had pushed back for years, has been to do things musically, but I just didn't have confidence, whatever. So during this class, one day I was just enjoying the class, loving it, and one day I was just kind of in my kitchen, I was making my husband's lunch, and all of a sudden this little diddly came, and I thought, hey, that'd make a good song. It was like never too late, and so I actually wrote a song, And this is the first song that I actually have ever written in my entire life. This song. So I'm going to share this with you. And it's kind of funny too because I've always kind of paid more attention to, in songs, the music and not so much the words. But when I wrote the song, it was just, I really felt like I had this message to share. And so I really put a lot of thought into the words. And that's why I wanted to have a microphone so that you guys can hear the words and be encouraged. It's never too late to follow your dreams. Okay. I used to think that I'd never be free, and the dreams in my heart maybe just weren't meant to be. Then something told me, just never give up. And the voice that spoke to me said I had a destiny. And the reason for my longing was 'cause I was meant to be so much more than I thought. So never give up. 'Cause it's never too late, but don't sit around and wait. Try something new for the first time. You can always choose what you got to lose. 'Cause if you don't try, then you'll always wonder, what could I be? Who am I? Who am I? What could I be? Can I try? Can I try? As I thought about my aging, and I felt this inner raging about the life I wasn't living and a future not fulfilling. Something said to me, just never give up and pick yourself up. So I put my best foot forward toward the life I long to see. Left behind my fears and took a chance on being me. And all the while that voice was saying, now don't you give up. Things are looking up. 'Cause it's never too late, but don't sit around and wait. Try something new for the first time. Just because you think you're old doesn't mean you can't be bold. You can be that bright star in the nighttime. Just never give up. Shine your light, never give up. Shine your light, oh so bright. Now my life is moving forward in many ways I never dreamed. Changing my perceptions of the way life always seemed. And now I know that voice was God, who never gave up on me. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. You were always here with me. So let's live life to the fullest, and let's all have no regrets as we cross the line to finish. Let's be sure we did our best, 'cause we never gave up. And others were watching us. Look at her, see what she's doing. Look at him, we can do it too. No, it's never too late to learn how to roller skate. Try something new for the first time. Don't sit around and wait. Go on a date. You might find the love of your lifetime. No, it's never too late to walk on through the gate and find the person you long ago left behind. No, it's never too late to rediscover your fate and finally have some peace of mind. Oh, yes. That's what it's about. It's never too late. Never give up, never give up. It's never too late. Pick yourself up, pick yourself up. It's never too late. The voice is cold.